Good evening, beekeepers and other folks out there. So, welcome to the March edition of Ask the Beekeeper. I'm your host, Jim Hartman with Sea Garden Bees. And spring is here, and we are busy. We are definitely busy here. The the hives are busting at the seams. They're super healthy. I can never be sure if I fed them enough in the fall to see if they're going to be okay in the spring until spring gets here. And I see how they do, and well, they're doing real well. Uh, Normally this time of year, I would be feeding them right now to kind of get them, you know, jazzed up a little more, making more bees, being healthier. But the weather has been just right enough that the bees have been bringing in nectar and pollen from a number of things that the past few years have been killed by the frost. So I may not have to feed this year, and that's a good day because you know that's a food bill I don't have to pay for these. So that's super exciting. We've been getting in and inspecting the bees every week. Now, if you're a new beekeeper, the what you want to do is you want to get in there and look at them all the time. They're like a new pet, but just leave them alone. Once a week is enough. And this year, uh, at this time of year, you get in there once a week and you're checking the hives to make sure they've still got enough food, that the queen is laying, and most importantly, what we're doing right now is we're looking for swarm cells. I was going to take a picture of a swarm cell today, and I got distracted. But once you see one, you can't unsee it. It's probably the size of two digits on your index finger sticking out of the hive, and that's where the queen is making a new queen, and she's getting ready to swarm. And so what we do is when we find those, we pull that out and we make a new split, a new hive out of it, which is good because our nuke yard, we deployed all those this spring to several sites. Our nuke yard was empty, but after this week, we've got 6 more nukes in there. Now, not all of those will survive. Uh, yeah, that queen has to hatch out. She has to fly on her mating flight. She has to not get picked off by a blue jay or whatever, and she has to find her way back and get mated. But the ones that do, they'll be okay. So we'll go ahead and check them in about 2 weeks and see how they're doing. And if there's a new queen in there that's laid, life is good. Life is good. That's a brand new hive, and we'll just keep going through those hives every week because in March, that's what we got to do. That'll keep running all the way up through late April when the honey flow starts. Uh, and then we won't be able to get in as much because we'll have the honey supers on top. And once they start filling those honey supers, it's hard to get in and really inspect because they're heavy. Now, if you're a new beekeeper this year, again, once a week's fine. Do exactly the same things I just told you. Look for swarm cells. It's an opportunity for you to split. If you just got your package of bees, remember that you need to feed them. Just feed them and feed them and feed them. And I've gotten some hate mail on a couple of my videos uh, about feeding the bees and our BeeFeed that we use. About how we should just plant more flowers and leave the bees alone. Well, you can't do that with a brand new package. They don't have any worker bees. Or same with a nuke. There's no worker bees to go out. They're all nurse bees in there, or they're all just when you get a package, they were shaken into that 3 pound package. You don't know what you got in there. But what you also don't have is any drawn comb. So they're just going to be focused on drawn comb so the queen has a place to live, and they need food to do that. So, you know, feed if you get a new hive. You get a nuke, you get a package. You got to feed them, and it's amazing how much you have to feed a new hive. Not uncommon for a package to draw down 3 gallons of feed within a week. I don't know where they put it, but you gotta be on it. Don't forget, by the way, if you have questions, don't forget to put them in the comments, and I'll answer them. The feeding. So a lot of folks, and I did this. A lot of folks will want to go with an entrance feeder. It's simple. It seems easy. It sticks in the entrance of the hive with a little quart jar on there, and you can see when it's empty. But unless you're home every day and go out and check that little feeder every day, it can quickly become empty. I used that little entrance feeder when I first got started, and that was a lesson learned for me. So, you know, I like hive top feeders. That's mostly what we use. We typically buy the ones from Dadant that have floats in them. I don't like the Miller feeders that have a screen down them. For whatever reason, I get a lot of drowned bees in those. I like the ones that have a float in them. Though we did buy a bunch of Hilco's new feeders this year that are plastic on the inside. Uh, Man, I really like the way they're made, so we're gonna give them a go because plastic doesn't rot like our wooden ones do, and that costs money. But get yourself a hive top feeder if you got a new one, and just feed them. Just feed them good, 1 to 1 this time of year. 1 part sugar, 1 part water, or you can cut the BeeFeed that we've got, the Secret Garden Bees BeeFeed, by about 30%, and you have premix that way. All right, you know, pest control right now. So hey, this is a fun one. If you've done things right, your varroa mites are under control coming in spring. Our counts are very low right now. I'm really happy with our varroa control that we did in the fall and over the winter. So that's good. You do have to monitor that though, and because it's going to ramp up between now and June. Now between now and June is when the varroa mite just goes through the roof. The other thing we've got is small hive beetles. I hate those little guys. Asian small hive beetles. The bees chase them up into the corners. They try and purplize them in, but they can't kill them. One thing we're doing this year is I read a study that was published in the North Carolina State Buzz magazine about just using peppermints. I've heard of this before, but I've never tried it. Just peppermints we get them by the 4-pound bag at Walmart, and you stick about 4 of these peppermints in your hive in the corners, and the bees eat them. And as they eat them, they spread it all through the hive. And apparently, the hive beetles, they hate it. They don't like the peppermint. We've been putting them in our hives now for about 3 weeks, and I'll be darned. I saw 1 hive beetle today when we were out checking. 1. That's pretty amazing. We'll see how it does when it gets a little warmer and the hive beetle larva is able to do a little bit better. But boy, if that can continue, what a cheap solution, and it doesn't hurt. Well, we won't do them when we have the honey on. It shouldn't do anything to the honey, but I don't like to have anything going on with the hives when the honey supers are on. But wow, what a great deal. So, spring flowers, the red maples are done. That's their first source of nectar and pollen. But all the pear trees are coming in. Ours are in full bloom right now. Our cherry trees are in full bloom right now. Our mulberries are just finished blooming. There's a lot going on out there. And then you've got all the henbit. That's the little purple flowers you see all over. If your bees are bringing in dark red pollen in their pouches, that's henbit. And then mustard. I haven't seen a lot of it this year, but those are the little yellow flowers that are coming in. Let's see what else we got going on here on the farm. Yeah, so I'm getting ready to plant some of our wildflower fields. We've got perennial wildflowers, but I always save a space, 30 feet deep by a couple 100 feet wide up front in one of the fields, kind of by our store, and I always plant that in something pretty every year. And this year it's going to be a mix of poppies and zinnias, summer zinnias and then spring poppies because I just think they look cool. So I hope they grow this year. We're going to be planting those this weekend and this week as well. You may have seen our video we did. As part of our conservation plan, we burned off one of our wildflower fields and then I sprayed it with a selective herbicide that was specified in our conservation plan. to be safe for the bees and be safe for the wildflowers. All right, DC Rogers, you're saying my volume is low. Let me see if I can fix that guy.
Talk louder.
I guess I just talk louder. I can do that too. I can talk louder. Christy says just talk louder. So I'll do that. Yeah, so we just finished. We're going to plant the poppies. We sprayed the grass that grows up in our wildflowers. That's the invasive grass. We sprayed that with a selective herbicide that's directed in our conservation plan to be safe for the bees, but kill the invasive grass and not the wildflowers. So I'm hoping not to have as much grass in our wildflowers this year. That's gonna be nice. Just man, super busy. Oh yeah, and we're hosting the closing ceremonies for the North Carolina Small Farms Week here at the farm next Friday. It's part of my duties as the outgoing North Carolina Small Farmer of the Year. I gotta host that, and that's gonna include farm tours. So if you're in the area next Friday morning, come out and get some farm tours, see the place, see our new packing facility, and my neighbor is gonna be here cooking fresh made biscuits on his wood stove, and so fresh biscuits, honey, and some of our jelly, and you get to see the place. So come on by. We're running at 9 to 11:30 on Friday the 28th. Love to have you. We're getting that facility figured out. Still a little growing pains. There's the piping from our tanks to our filler is longer than it used to be, so I'm having to increase the size of the pipes so the honey flows through it better. Just things like that. Maintenance that I didn't, want to do, that I'm having to do. It's busy, but it's coming together. It's coming together to be a good year. Some other exciting news for us. I'm working. I think thanks to Eric Grandin, who's on. Eric Grandin had a phenomenal idea. He's been selling to schools up in West Virginia, and I've never been able to do that. Never been able to figure it out, so I stole his good idea, and I've been trying to figure out how to sell to schools, and I'm a miserable failure, by the way, at selling to our K through 12 schools. Mostly because the government just cut all the funding for local food for schools, so they can't actually buy from farmers anymore, which is ridiculous. But what I did figure out is in the process is I think I made a deal with some universities. We're still negotiating the terms, but it looks really promising that I'll have at least six universities next year that we'll have our honey in their cafeteria. So when students check out and get their meal with their meal card, they'll be able to pick up some local honey as well. We'll see how that goes. That'd be really cool. There's a lot of universities in North Carolina I'd like to get into. Those are better than grocery stores. Those, and then the Fresh Market is my primary store I sell in, and they just opened up 10 more stores this year, so we just expanded that. It's going okay. DC Rogers, you asked why not increase the pressure of the pumps for the longer pipes. So we aren't pushing honey from the tanks to our filler. We're pulling honey from the tanks to the filler. So the filler has the pump on it, and then it has to pull through those pipes. So what I figured out is the longer pipes, the honey cools down a little bit too much. So we went from 1-inch stainless steel lines to 1.5-inch stainless steel lines. And that should make it easier for our pump to pull them in, to be able to pull that honey up through that as it begins to cool down a little bit. So that's my theory anyway. We're going to find out after I've upgraded. I think it'll work. I hope it works. So, Stuart, you're asking about honey packets. Yeah, so that was Eric Grandin's great idea that I'm trying to steal. Eric's got a great machine that he bought that makes his honey packets, and I'm super impressed with them. And I'm looking at buying that machine to make honey packets. I just got to figure out the market for them still. I'm trying to dig into that a little bit. Uh, but the universities want my bottled honey right now, so heck, we'll start there. We'll start with the product I already have. That makes me happy. So, and maybe I'll get into the honey packets after I figured out the market. Uh, let's see what else we got going on here. Do, 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 do. Man, that's.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Are
Faith,
you,
yes, faithful assistant.
Are you at the end of questions?
I am.
Oh, talk about. I think Stuart asked about revenue streams or new revenue streams. Talk about harvest hosts. That might be something some of the folks would want to look into if they have the space.
Yeah. So Christy said, recommend that I talk about. Well, my Facebook says I'm having some internet issues, so we got a storm going on, so I'm sorry if I blank out a little bit. So Christy recommended I talk about some other revenue streams. So if you're a farmer out there, and one of the things we've done is signed up for harvest hosts. I actually got a phone call this week from another farmer who in Wilmington, who was dubious. He called me up and he said the harvest host folks told him to call me. I guess I'm doing well on harvest hosts. And he said, really, people come to your farm and want to like park and tour your farm and park their RV for the night? I'm like, yeah, this is a good deal. He says, do you like have cows or something for a pet? I'm like, what? My dogs come say hi. But this harvest host thing, it's a pretty good deal if you've got some land and you're relatively near a major thoroughfare and it's relatively easy for the people to get their RVs in and out. I'd recommend checking it out. It's been a real blessing to our farm. So it's been real nice for us. Let's see other things going on the farm. Oh yeah, Christy has been busily hatching out ducks.
Yes.
We
ask if they want to see one. I'll bring it.
I don't know if you can hear that. Christy says if you want to see one, she's aching to go grab one of her ducklings and show it to you. So just put it in the comments if you want to see one. She's been busily hatching out ducks. We take some casualties over the winter from predators. So in the spring we gather up their eggs, throw them in the incubator, and hatch them out, and get a new duck army to get us through the year. We don't get much out of our ducks. We get some eggs, but mostly we get some pest control out of them, and they amuse us. That's about it.
And we get meat.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
we shouldn't say that.
Well, she's right. If we have too many boys, we do get some duck for dinner because we don't need that many boys. And so yeah, a little duck for dinner from time to time. So that's going on. Let's see other things. So, Allie. Okay, you got one request, honey. Allie Wilson says she wants to see one of the ducks.
Why?
So one of the other things we're doing, and we're really big on this, and again, if you run a small business, whether you're a farmer or not, one of the things that I found extremely useful is we sign up as a mentorship location. We get people through the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act or the National Farm Workers Jobs Program. Both of those are programs you can sign up for through your local. In North Carolina, it's NC Works, but your employment education folks. And what they do is they'll pay someone for 12 weeks to come work on your business or in your farm. Okay, come here and show them, honey. These two just hatched yesterday. Yes, you're good ducks. They hatched yesterday and they're super cute.
Actually, these are a couple days
Oh,
old.
these are a couple days.
Yeah.
You didn't grab the new ones.
No, I grabbed the ones that were a little more friendly.
Yeah, these
we
two.
love secret garden bees. We do.
So I've got a bathtub full of ducks
With 20 more in the incubator.
with 20 more in the incubator. And yeah, it's good times. But anyway, so workforce development, go sign up for that, and you can get some folks. The other benefit of that is that same program has summer work. So I'll get a couple of high schoolers that'll come out and work and learn on the farm all summer, and I think that's really nice. I get an opportunity to teach new folks how to do stuff. By the way, the National Farm Workers Jobs Program, if you are a farmer and you have kids, you can get them signed up for the program, and they can go work on a farm, just not your farm. So my daughter's going to go work on someone else's farm this summer. But that's pretty neat. I'm trying to figure it out because I've got a lot of people who want to come do the program here. My challenge is, you reach a point where you don't have enough work for them to do. It's just a great problem for me to have. I feel bad, and I'm like, well, we did everything in like half the time it normally takes. Who knew that 3 extra hands would be great?
Well, they were slaughtering ducks and
Yeah, it was great.
they did everything.
So, yeah, but that's the big stuff going on. Getting ready for the grand opening. Small Farms Week is next week at NCA&T. I'll be one of the guest speakers at the Small Farmer panel. That is an excellent conference if you're a small farmer. That is probably one of the best ones there is to go to. They're going to have a person from USDA there signing you up for SNAP EBT for the readers to accept SNAP EBT at your farm. Right there on the spot. You fill out all the paperwork, submit everything, and then in like 2 weeks you get your reader in the mail, and then you can accept SNAP EBT at your farm, or at your farm store if you've got one. That's pretty cool. They've got classes that are especially for small farmers on finance. They've got programs. It's pretty good. Charles, where am I located? Outside of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yeah. Let's see. Stuart asked, any updates on the recent bee decline? No. The commercial folks have just taken it in the shorts this year. I've seen, at the North Carolina State Conference last week, they were talking about there are, they're really super experienced beekeepers out there who have lost 4,000 hives. And they don't know why. No one knows why. These guys aren't slouches. So far it hasn't hit me, and I'm hoping it stays that way. I do think it's going to impact the prices of our produce this summer, because the large produce buyers, growers out there aren't going to get the pollination that they normally have, and that's going to drive the prices up because there's not going to be as much supply. The good news is buy local and you'll still be fine. Let's see. That's the big stuff going on here.
Tell them to follow us on social. I don't know if you did already, for a lot of how-to videos, including about the swarm cells that you were talking about.
Yeah. So, paid advertisement there. Follow us on social for a lot of the how-to videos. We do a lot of short ones. And YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I get a lot of messages on Instagram, and I struggle to answer them. I don't know why Instagram kicks my butt. But I'm working on it. Trying to get better. But follow us on that, because we're doing a lot of stuff like about swarms and other pieces that we do and the things we do on the farm. Stuart, you asked, what was the SNAP program I highlighted? So SNAP is food stamps, SNAP EBT. And if you have a farm store that meets certain criteria for the things that you have in your store, you can sign up to accept SNAP EBT. It's another revenue stream that way, because your credit card reader, the normal credit card reader, won't accept an EBT card, but you can get signed up for it, and it's pretty cool. That conference, they sign you up right there. Usually the process is pretty long.
Can we sign up?
No, we can't sign up. I can't sign up because, honey, by itself is not SNAP EBT eligible. I have to sell like 4 other products to do it. I would have to add some produce, and
We have jelly knees.
we're just not doing that. Fawn, you asked about the bee decline. You know, too close to a chemical spray causing. They don't know. It's
Do you need to go?
bees from multiple states are being affected, and they're seeing, you know, tractor trailer loads of bees that were healthy when they left showing up dead. Large keepers are going out to the yard to get them ready and just dead, just mass die off. It's not limited to a single state. It's so disturbing, but we don't know. Following your ask, do I accept SNAP? I think I hit that one. No, I don't. I wish I did. I'm just not eligible because we don't have enough product in the store in certain categories. So, yeah, I only have honey and jelly, and while those are SNAP eligible, my farm only has those 2 types of products, so I don't qualify for SNAP.
But we take it at the farmer's market in Fuquay.
Right, we do take it at the farmers market in Fuquay because in Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina, because they have a special program there that allows us to do that. Yeah, and you know, I'm also getting set up for spring festivals. We are our first one's on the 28th in a new one in Moore County, out by Pinehurst at the Moore County Airport, a barbecue festival. Haven't done that one before, but you know, it'll be nice. I need to make a little money to pay for some more gravel to be put out. Turns out the gravel guy wants to get paid when he drops it off, so I'm gonna go out there and sell some honey. And then the farmers market's going to start soon. Of course, the Dogwood Festival's coming up here in Fayetteville, and you know, we'll just keep working, and keep going, and then harvest some honey and sell some more honey and drive on. Keeps me young. No one wants to get old like Eric Grandin. You know, we all want to stay young.
Ooh. Have them to come out next Friday if they can, Friday morning.
All right. Yeah. So, reminder: if you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, or nearby, come out next Friday morning. We'll give you the farm tour and free biscuits and a little honey and jelly. And I'll give you all one more chance to ask questions. And other than that, I'm gonna go back to watching the rest of season 5 of Yellowstone because it finally came out on Peacock. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you out here next Friday. Y'all have a good night.